Welcome back to the third video on web server compromise, part of the blue attack path. So real quick to summarize, we've created a tunnel from the Windows 10 workstation to my Kali VM to allow my Kali VM to then SSH into the environment to my jump box. And this is only if you need the VPN. Now I have that tunnel over port 32,000. Now I've created another tunnel that appears on port 42,000 that is inside the tunnel of 32,000 for connecting to the compromised web server over SSH. So if I come back here, I can see 42,000. 42,000 is listening on localhost. So if I was to just authenticate with the Vagrant account over 42,000, it would let me in. Well, I want one more tunnel to connect into the 42,000, but instead of a tunnel, I want a SOCKS proxy. So going back to the PowerPoint really quick, I want to establish a SOCKS proxy across port 42,000 so that I can use Metasploit, Nmap, and other tools using the SOCKS proxy to run on the 192.168.1.0 network. So to do that, again, the command has changed slightly. -D establishes the SOCKS proxy across port 42,000 with a Vagrant account at localhost. So going back to here, I'm going to say SSH -FNT because I want to maintain my Kali D and 52,000. I am saying we're running across port 42,000, and I'm going to use the Vagrant account that I compromised on localhost. And I hit enter, key in the Vagrant account, and I'm connected. So if I now look at the TCP connections, I will see port 52,000, and it's connected on the local host. So I have one tunnel from Windows 10 back to Kali. I'm using that tunnel to then connect to my jump box, and then I use that tunnel that's connected to my jump box to then tunnel to the web server that I compromised, and then I established a SOCKS proxy inside of port 42,000 to get to the network. So with the SOCKS proxy established, I can now use proxy chains, but I want to back up a little bit. If you're inside the network at Ensign College, it's a lot simpler to set this up. You can ignore the VPN slides of creating the 32,000 tunnel and the 42,000 tunnel and skip to this slide here and just run SSH -FNT, set up your SOCKS proxy on 52,000 with the Vagrant account on 192.168.168.161 with the port number 22,000, 22,001, 2, 3, or 4 using the compromised Vagrant account. Now, for those of you who are using the VPN, I would recommend creating a script that is similar to this script, where this reminds me of the command that I need to run on the Windows 10 connected VM, the VM that's connected to the VPN. And then I have the two commands where I establish my port 42,000, the tunnel over 32,000, and then I establish my SOCKS proxy. So now with proxy chains, I have to modify this etc proxy chains 4.configuration file. To do that, I use Vim or Nano or Pico or VI or Emacs, whatever editor you choose. And the very last line, you need to create this, SOCKS for the localhost 52,000. So what you're saying is, I want to use the SOCKS proxy on localhost on port 52,000. And then for you to utilize proxy chains, you just put proxy chains in the beginning, the command you would like to execute, whether it's nmap, rdesktop, Firefox, whatever, and then put the rest of the command. So for this example, I used nmap on port 3389, and I'm looking at IPs inside the 192.168.1 network, which is inside the compromised web server, or where the compromised web server sits. The results come back using the tunnel that this TCP port is closed. And that's how I can hunt around and identify the open ports of the hosts that are inside that network. And that concludes this technique of SSH pivoting and using proxy chains. This is not an easy concept to grasp, but it's a very powerful concept when you do grasp it. So I encourage you to watch these videos and practice connecting these these SSH tunnels. And I'd recommend you work with changing the ports so that you're not just following the tutorial that I've given you. All right, enjoy. Thank you.